Everybody is talking about vibe coding. I feel like I'm seeing it every other tweet or every other LinkedIn post. And they're also talking about AI-powered marketing automations. These two things are like hand in hand. But everything I read and I see, and also the people I talk to, it's very seldom that I actually get any true applications or tactics of people actually using or implementing this. And so that's what we're going to do today is talk to somebody that's in this flow in an ecosystem that helps to enable people to build out these applications. So we're having on my friend CJ. He runs this company called CodeGuide.dev. And what it does is it basically helps you build a robust PRD, a product requirements document that you can then take into a Lovable, have it do that V1 of the product, and then take that into Cursor to actually build out these applications. This episode is going to be really eye-opening for non-technical people that are trying to figure out, hey, how do I automate my own internal workflows, building custom software to solve my own problems? What are the classic mistakes that people are making when they're trying to get these AI app builders like Replit or Lovable to actually create something that is usable? And then we're also going to go into a deep dive on how we're seeing people use these tools to basically create these AI automations to automate specific channels for their marketing. Like, I'm a firm believer now that social media manager as a job title is on the chopping block. I would be shocked if that exists for most companies over the next 2 years. But with that said, this episode is brought to you by Talent Fiber. Talent Fiber helps you find the best offshore development talent. They've placed 300 plus engineers. And why they're better than most offshore talent agencies is they function as a BPO, a business professional outsourcing organization. They're basically outsourced HR. So they do all the initial interviews, they find you the best people, and then you just show up and vibe check, hey, do I want to work with this person on a daily basis? And the reason they can get the best talent is because they provide the equivalent of a 401k or health insurance in that country. So it's like a magnet for the best people. They also handle all of the employee happiness, progress reports, and anything else that's HR related so that you can focus on shipping products and making your company grow. Go to talentfiber.com to learn more. Let's get started with today's show. CJ, what's good, man? So stoked to have you here.
No, it's so great to see you back. We actually connected a while back, I think, on one of our call.
I know, and you were super early with this, so it's dude, I feel like you've been owning my like Twitter feed, just like anything related to vibe coding. You're like in that space, so
that's just gonna be. No, that's just super interesting space to be. I just love your takes on, your raw ideas. So I just take those ideas and try to, mesh up something with it with all these tools.
Amazing. Well, man, I think to just start this conversation, everybody is talking about this thing, but there's just so much vaporware and just like vapor conversation around it. Like, what is the actual application? What I'm seeing work right now, and like what I'm doing is like I use some type of like voice to transcription software, something like a Super Whisper. You put that into something like CodeGuide.dev, which is your company. Basically creates this like detailed PRD that you then take to like a Lovable. Take from Lovable, put that into a GitHub repo, into Cursor, and then, take it the last 20% of the way there. So I'd love to learn like how you're seeing people be the most effective. And then also just like high level, what is vibe coding? How are you seeing like non-technical people starting to implement it within, their work days?
For sure. Let's start from here. I think, so vibe coding so I categorize vibe coding in two sections. One is very sophisticated vibe coding, also known as, AI coding. And second one is very chilled version of vibe coding. So you can call it chilled vibe coding. So what is a sophisticated vibe coding? It's when you have some sort of awareness of like what's front end, what is backend, why do I need different databases, how to deploy things, how to prompt, how to debug. You don't need to know how to write code, but you need to know how to run code. That's like sophisticated vibe coding. And all the guys that are actually building stuff right now, they're all sophisticated vibe coders. And then there comes the second version of vibe coding, which is a chilled version of it. I think the future is there. It is getting there, but it's just not there yet, which is like build me a fitness app for like busy moms. and then I just prompt it, front end, back end, everything is done. I have a full stack application. That's just not there, but we see that the future is going there. For that, you don't need to know anything. You can just go to tools like V0, Bolt, Lovable, Replit, and you just start yapping. You just go from one page to another, and 30 minutes in, you're just so addicted to it, you just want to build something out of it. So this is how I wrap up this concept, but that's the future. 2024 actually changed coding forever. English is now the biggest coding language. So all you need to do is know how to talk to this AI, how to tame this AI so it works with you, not against you.
I want to double click down on this idea of like, and I've seen this too. It's just like my friends that are like way more technical, right? Like they know the language that they need to use to describe the outcome that they're trying to create from the application, and like the results that somebody who's a software engineer with 10 years of experience, that what they can get out of a Lovable is 10x better than what somebody can get out of just a normie, non-technical person, right? I'm curious if there's any like resources or any way that you're seeing people kind of like upskill themselves like quickly into understanding the vocabulary that's necessary so that they can go in, jump into a Lovable, jump into one of these and like be more effective, or jump into a Replit, be more effective in the outcomes that they generate from it. Anything like there that you're seeing people do that the audience should know about?
For sure. On your first point, I think that's exactly what's happening right now. AI is just making us super productive. Now we don't need like 10 developers. A team of 2 can actually run a 10 million ARR company right now, and that we're seeing every single day, right? And then on the second note, I think the step 1 is, this is how I advise all my friends. I am just, going really hard on them, like, just get into this space. The first step is you make yourself AI native, From outside, this looks like a bubble. This looks like, okay, AI is just not there, or I don't think so, it'll stay here, but that's not true. After internet, this is the biggest revolution that's happening right now. And now comes like, okay, how can I make myself AI native? Let's start with ChatGPT. I literally go on ChatGPT. I have anything, work related. Let's just do a web search with ChatGPT or Perplexity or Grok, which is free, right? Then you try to see like, okay, this is actually a lot more helpful than going to Google and just search it manually, right? Then comes voice of it. So ChatGPT voice, if nobody's actually trying to use it, this is one of the best softwares or tools out there available right now. So this is how I do it. Whenever I'm driving, I just open my ChatGPT voice and we just brainstorm. There is weird ideas that come to my mind and I just say, oh, go to do a web search, find me competitors. And then it says, oh, we have XYZ competitors. Okay, what are they offering? Then it gives me, bullet points, and then we go from there. So we hone in, and that's the best sort of, brainstorming session with any mentor that you can have. So when you try to do this like 10 to 15 minutes per day, you don't need any technical knowledge. You don't need any course for that. You will know like, okay, if I say this thing, AI understand a lot better than if I say XYZ, right? That's the only terminology that you need to know. Once you get comfortable with, speaking with AI, then comes the tool space, okay, then you can jump into the product side of things, which we can, jump into later on. But that's how I think we can start from making ourselves first AI native and then go into finding our use case.
Oh, that's great, man. It's great feedback. I didn't even think about the like have a conversation, like voice chat with ChatGPT as a way to understand the language to be able to communicate, like for the vibe coding process. That's such a like just simple, obvious thing in after you said that in hindsight. But okay, so to change kind of speed and really get into this, talk to me about Code Guide and like what you guys do. I think it's a really interesting like I've had this problem, right, where it's like you jump into Cursor, super powerful, right, but just like that beginning point of where do I start, what do I build, the same thing kind of with using like a Lovable, etc. As you're kind of there and you don't really know how to provide enough context for the outcome that you're expecting. Where do you guys fit into this kind of whole vibe coding space?
Sure.
And what are you like? What types of users are you seeing use your guys' program that's being most effective? Like, I guess, like, what's the use case that's most effective for this?
For sure. Do you want me to give some backstory of it?
Yeah. I think that would be super valuable, just so people understand
sure.
it in deeper, deeper context.
Perfect. So actually, I was running an MVP agency last year. So I created this thing in January 2024. Like, okay, I'll build 12 startups in 12 months. That was just to force myself to test the AI coding space, into details of it, and forcing myself and hold myself accountable if I fail or so. And then when I jumped into it, I was just shocked. Like, okay, this is not a fad. This is not a bubble. This thing can actually build stuff, right? So, and when I was building stuff with Cursor, that was the only tool that was launched. Before that, that was the first player. There was so much chaos. Because all these tools like Cursor, Windsurf, Lovable, etc., they're built on AI models, AI coding models. For example, Sonnet 3.5, which is the first coding model that actually blew everyone's mind. These models have very short context window. So it can just, save very short memory. So basically it has very short memory. And when you build something, you write code. And when the code base gets larger, it starts to, delete things from its memory base, and then it starts to hallucinate. It assumes things, and in the end, it just mess up the whole code base. So it gives you the glimpse of it. Okay, I can build stuff. But when you get into the thing, it just starts, messing up the space. And when I was building my MVPs for all these clients, I used to write all these documents manually. I knew that's not the right way. I was spending, 7 to 8 hours just writing PRDs and app flow docs and this and that. And that was just the chaos. So just like every second time founder do, just create a proof of concept. So I created a make.com automation, which was like 37 prompts, I think, and which was like write PRD, and then it sends the PRD to another flow, which was writing app flow doc, and goes on and on. So in the end, I was getting like a set of 8 documents, and that saved, at least 7 hours for me. So that was like, okay, if I'm struggling with this problem, there are like tons of other developers that are actually using these tools to build, production ready application. They're also suffering with same problem. So I just treated this thing like, okay, this is my concept. Like I called it context boundary. And this is how I build boundary around Cursor. And I achieved 85% better results than the normal flow. And if you guys want this solution, I can turn this thing into a product. I was shocked. Like I got more than 400 retweets in like 24 hours. And that was the validation for me. Like, okay, this is something that I need to turn this thing into a product. So I created a landing page, used bolt.com within 15 minutes. So I woke up and the thing was going viral. And I knew like if I don't plug this thing into a CTA, I won't get a lot of, sign up. So 15 minutes, I created like a very messy looking landing page with Supabase connected. You can just put in your email address, and then I just launched it. And then for the next 2 weeks, I literally warmed up people. I think when we last connected, we had a conversation about how did I get all these emails from them, and then I converted them into, I basically verified those emails, and then I started sending them emails like, okay, we're launching at X date. So yeah, long story short, we created this proof of concept that went really well. I launched at a very bad time of the year, like 24th of December, a night before Christmas. But I was super stoked, like, okay, this is it. This thing will work. And that worked actually. By the New Year, I think we did $17,000 in like revenue, which was at 90% profit margins. So what is the use case? The use case is this code guide basically writes documentation, the project documentation. Why this thing is important? Because we cannot say, build me a Twitter clone. We need to mention like, build me a Twitter clone with this technology. It should have XYZ core features. It should have this app flow. User starts from landing page, then goes into sign up and this and that, right? So like a proper flow. And we create a set of 12 to 13 documents in like 5 steps, which is very easy for anybody. And then you can just copy the prompt, paste it into Cursor or any other tool. So we work with all AI coding tools out there and all AI models, whatever model that you use, it works with everything out there. So yeah, that's the problem that I figured out. So it's like a one problem, one solution kind of thing that I built, and it's going really good.
That's amazing, man. Okay, so for the uninitiated, can we go a little bit deeper on like this idea of a PRD? I mean, anybody that's listening to this that's done product in the past, they understand it. That's handed this off to engineering. Why does giving this context or this boundary to the AI before they, you even start having it write code for you? Why does that create such a higher likelihood that you're going to actually build the thing that you're wanting, to produce?
Sure.
Can you just kind of expand on that?
For sure. So basically, AI models are large language models, right? And large language models basically are a glorified version of autocorrection or prediction, So they can predict the next word. So at a very high level, it can predict one possibility. So if I don't provide exact context, exact detail about what app do I want, what are the features, what is the tech stack, and et cetera, it just starts to hallucinate on its own that one possibility. And 9 out of 10 times, that one possibility is wrong, right? So that's why we write PRD, which gives like introduction to my application. Then we write, tech stack with detail like front end, back end. Then we write back end instructions, front-end instructions, rules for AI. Then we attach cursor rules, this and that, right? So when we attach this thing, and now we are in the coding workflow, the tool literally goes through these docs first, and then it starts to hallucinate. And if it finds everything in that PRD or any document out there, then it just starts focusing on the execution part rather than thinking of the outcome, what can be the best solution to implement this.
Yeah, so you're almost giving it's like a boundary that it has to, it's like a road that it's driving or like a path that it has to walk basically to get to the end outcome. And you're just like, or
exactly.
It makes so much sense. Again, these things are probably so obvious to some people that are listening, but I think for the majority of people that are not technical that are coming into this, it's like an eye-opening like realization of, and it's funny too, because like when you use like a ChatGPT or this and you're doing like marketing activities, right? The best outcomes is when you give it an example of like, here's a templated framework that you're going to fit in. Like, one of our workflows that we use on the AI SEO side as an example to like build content at scale is like, here's the source material you're writing from. Here's the like format template output that we want you to like deliver. And like it, you're basically giving it like these boundaries that it has to work in. And this is the same idea. So, okay. So,
exactly.
so they've used CodeGuide. They built these documents out. What happens after that? They go to Lovable, go to Replit, or what are you seeing be the best kind of like vibe coding softwares and for different use cases? I know off the call or before we started recording, you said, hey, each of them has like different specialties. I'm really curious to learn those from you.
For sure, that's a very good question actually. So let's do a rating test, right? So for now. So this is like the top 5 or top 7 tools. Cursor is like the best one because it is a lot more scalable. It's a lot more robust. So, and that's not for the beginners. It is actually for those sophisticated AI coders that actually understand and read code, and they can just go attach APIs and keys, and they can debug on their own if something goes wrong. So Cursor is like the best one right now, the most robust one. It can create any sort of application, mobile apps, plugins, Chrome extensions, web apps, whatever, you name it. Then comes Windsurf, Windsurf AI, which is, I think, similar to Cursor, but it's a lot user-friendly. So they don't have all the fluff like, agent and ask mode and this mode in Cursor. They just have one cascade. You literally go use cascade and you get the stuff done. It is actually getting a lot better. So the competition is a lot tighter between Cursor and Windsurf. These both tools are really good, and it's a lot cheaper than Cursor, and people actually favor that, all the new developers. Then comes another category, which is like browser-based AI tools like Replit, Bolt, Lovable, and V0. These 4 are the top ones. And out of these 4, each one has their own specialty. So V0 is the best tool out there when it comes to the UI design. It creates the best UI out there because it uses Next.js. It's their own language. It's by Vercel. And that's why they create the best UI. Replit is best when you want to create quick MVPs with less errors, and then you just want to get stuff done. You want to present something in your meeting. You need a quick MVP. Even for mobile applications, Replit is actually very good. Then comes a Bolt. Bolt is the cursor of this space. So it's a lot robust. It's a lot. It can do a lot, but you need to have some sort of awareness of how to debug stuff, how to get out of this loop of errors, how to utilize your tokens better, how to prompt and stuff. But if you can get that done, you can build a full stack application with Bolt. That's the only tool in the browser use or browser-based AI tools that can do that. Then comes Lovable, which is a rising star. It can build really cool UI concepts like V0, but it can also do the stuff that Replit and Bolt can do, which is creating landing pages, web apps, mobile applications. And it is getting better day by day, week by week. And Replit has the best marketing strategy out there. They are just there. Whenever you open Twitter, there is something about Lovable that's going on. So yeah, these are like the top 6 tools that I use for different use cases, and these are the best ones. And if somebody that is just trying to get a taste of it, I would recommend start with browser-based AI tools. And then once you get familiar with that, get comfortable, you build something, you deploy something, then you can go on to Cursor and Windsurf and make like a full stack application.
Awesome. No, I feel like that gives great insight into just the pathway to get onboarded onto this. I've seen a lot of these. I don't know what to describe them. They're kind of like they don't really provide the code. They almost like keep it by. I would almost call them like this like hybrid between like AI coding and like no code. These types of platforms. And I think the challenge there is that, or what I've found is that the customizability, like getting them past that final yard line, is like nearly impossible. I think the eye-opening moment for me personally was like, oh, cool. Like I can get, take a PRD, give it to Lovable. Lovable gets it 80% of the way there. GitHub that into to Cursor, and then take that final, get it to that final kind of production-ready stage where I can pass it on to my team. What I'm talking about is mainly using it for internal tools. There's this, we've talked about vibe coding. That's kind of everybody has discussed this. This new element that's coming into the market is this idea of like vibe marketing, right? This is how we use it. It's like, what is a task or a process that I'm doing personally or my team is doing personally, and then can we go and build software that basically automates it? Like, again, just to give a concrete example of what that looks like, we just built this for our team internally. We do it's like an auto-indexing software to understand, hey, we published 100 articles. Which ones of those are actually on Google currently? Are they actually seen by Google? And then the ones that aren't, can we resubmit those manually? So that we're basically doing a call to the web indexing API to actually get them seen. This used to just be like a Python script that a team member was running, every morning. Now it's a web application where they basically like load up, a bunch of URLs, and it's a dashboard that's functioning. I feel like this is a perfect example of like how, the types of products that you can build. But I'm just curious about how you, like, if you're seeing anybody use this for like marketing strategies, and like, what are the stacks that people are doing? I know NAN probably fits into this whole ecosystem as well, 100%. And building these automations, but I'm curious to learn, again, you guys see so much, come through CodeGuide of like what people are trying to build. I'd love to download kind of the marketing, whether it's agents or whatever that they're building on using you guys.
For sure. I think you summed it up beautifully. Let's categorize it into 2 buckets. One is the automation side, which is Make.com, Zapier, N10, sorry. And then the second is basically where you use the research tools like ChatGPT deep research, Grok deeper research, Perplexity, and stuff like that. What is vibe marketing? Right now, let me give you my blueprint right now. This is how I write content. You need to work with algorithms, right? You need to go work with algorithms to go viral on whatever platform that you use. And we spend most of our time on X, right? I just go to Grok and I just ask it to find me the titles or posts that are going viral in last 48 hours, right? And then it just gives me like a list of all the posts in AI space, in X space, Y space, right? Then from there, I ask it to find me what are the narratives that are actually getting a lot of impressions. And then from there on, I hone in on like top three. I just spin my take on it. And then I just write one draft of it with my own writing. Then I created a project on Claude AI. So I just go into Claude AI and I just say, oh, this is my draft, but make it like the best of the best. Just use this persona. And then it just gives me the structurized with bullet points and this and that. Everything is, the symmetry is just top notch, good hook and everything. And then I just take that, design my asset on top, and then I just post it. That's like the easiest way to go viral. That's like the easiest way to market any product right now. And I tried this on LinkedIn. That worked perfectly there, and it works on X. And I usually within a month I get around like 10 million to 15 million impressions just by this one strategy.
I love it, man. I'd live for this. Immediately, I'm just like thinking, it feels like the social media manager role for like these companies is just basically like going to be automated. Like that's one of the first things that's on the chopping block, and it makes sense too because again, with everything that I try to talk about on this podcast in relationship to marketing, it's like define the process, automate it, delegate the rest, and then move on to the next thing, and then you layer on like the next marketing channel. What's great about social in particular as like a marketing channel is that it's a very finite like outcome that you're looking for. Like I'm going for the greatest reach and impressions, right, on the platform. And so you can just basically publish a lot, see what works. This is my personal process, right, of like how I write tweets. It's like publish 70 tweets a week, look at what gets the most impressions. That influences the next round every Sunday when I sit down and write. Like you can just do that for any brand. I'm just doing it, for personal. It helps me kind of like, synthesize thoughts, but I'm just thinking about this, like every channel that a version of that is going to exist. Like, why can't you do that with YouTube videos? Why can't you do that with LinkedIn posts? Why can't you do that with, Twitter? Why can't you do that with blogs, etc.? And have the data influence this next version. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. Like, this is actually like everybody talks about agents, but this is actually how I think about agents. It's like they're making decisions based on the outcomes that I'm wanting to occur. That's actually what is influencing the next action that they're taking. Yeah. So like, for example, say we write 100 blog posts and my goal is to get signups. Like historically, what I would do is I would analyze, okay, what's the landing page that somebody's landing on? And then, what's the common thread between them? Oh, we're seeing that X versus Y products type landing pages, like, HubSpot versus whatever is performing better than like how-to style articles. And then, the next round of writing that we do, it's going to focus solely on just like versus style content. That everything I just described there, like an agent can do that, right?
100%.
It has that capability. But I'm curious, if there's any other like agent or agentic workflows that you've seen people do using you guys that has been effective from like a marketing perspective, and again, just trying to give people like ideas of like, this is how this is going to fit into the marketing stack. You can build software for your internal dashboards, your internal teams that solves, stuff that people were doing manually. You can build these agents that are running accounts. Like, what are some of the other things that you're seeing?
For sure. I think you actually gave me some good raw points that I was actually building in my mind right now. So let's just turn this thing into a product.
I love it.
So I just call it like a very simple version of an AI agent using n8n. We can just take one Google Sheet and that can literally solve a lot of the problems. Yep. For example, if I write a blog which is AI written, Google can also check that, it's not providing a lot of the value, and then everything tanks down, right? How can I solve that? Because I was finding a way to write different articles for CodeGuide. So this is how I came across the solution. You can create a list of all the words that AI overuse, right? And then create a list of like 300 words like perhaps and once upon a time and this and that, which can literally, you see that and like, okay, this is AI written. Once you have that, then you use multiple AI models. Right now, I am using Gemini, which is free right now. And then I'm also using Claude because most of the stealth mode AI catchers are built on OpenAI models. So if you use different models, then there is a chance that they won't be able to recognize that if it is AI written and human written. So now this is an N8N automation. You give it a title, and then it generates the first draft with Gemini, and then you plug in your Google Sheet, and then from there on it rewrites it again, the Gemini model, and then it gives to the Claude model, and then Claude model literally structurizes it because it does the best. And then from there, if you want to add another version of it, you can add another model into it, but that's where you get like the proper draft, which 9 out of 10 times no AI model or no AI catcher can catch, like, okay, if it is AI written or human written. And it provides a lot of value. To make it more robust, you can also add search, so Google search, find different sources, citations, this and that. So you can do a lot of AI agentic work right now that people are actually sleeping on. Make.com can be a lot more robust with these techniques. N8N is like the best one out there, open source. You can self-host it. You can build whatever you want from that thing. So that is actually a very fascinating space, which we're also building some in-house automation like that. But I know a lot of guys that are actually running these automation agencies for different companies. And on the back end, this is a simple automation that they have, but the results are super good, a lot better than any SaaS out there.
Totally. Two questions for you, CJ, on relationship to the N8N stuff. Best self-hosting, like what are you seeing people do if they want to have it like be web-based rather than just running it on their local machine? And then also I'm curious, from my understanding how N8N functions, it's just like JSON, right? Like it's that. So I've seen people where they're like, basically use AI, write a JSON file, take that to N8N, and it spins up this workflow for them automatically. Yes. Can you talk to me about those two things? So it's like, what's the best hosting that somebody can do if they're just trying to self-host it? If get it up live, fast, cheap, and then is there talk to me about the JSON component of this and how you can have AI build these flows out for you automatically.
For sure. I think if somebody wants to just get started, N8N can be a little bit complicated because of all these, different languages, SQL, JSON, and stuff like that. You can start with make.com, right? You can just start and get to know like how to connect different APIs, how to use different models, how system prompts works, how completion of a response works and stuff like that. Once you build that for your own self, you just test out different variations of it. Once like I said, make yourself AI native. You just go back to ChatGPT, create like different JSON files, create another system prompt, and ask it to literally break down everything. And it will break down like, okay, this script does this script does this and that. And then it will also give you a complete step-by-step guide. You can literally enable search and then ask it like, okay, I want to use N8N. How can I do that? And then it will literally guide you. Like, let's just, make this process a lot smoother for people. ChatGPT search can literally write you a blueprint how you can self-host it on Cloudflare, how you can self-host it on Amazon or, Google Cloud or anywhere that you want. And then you can literally go write JSON files, understand each query and understand the proper workflow and then just run it. And we tested this thing out 8 out of 10 times that works. And if there is any error, take a screenshot, put it back into ChatGPT, and you can resolve that. So I think that's the easiest flow that I shared with my friend who knew nothing about automation or coding, and he was in shock, like, okay, is this even true? Is this even working? But yeah, that's I think is the easiest workflow that we can share right now.
I love it, man. One I ran into was, I think it's render.com for self-hosting. I've used that in the past. I think it's like they have a $5 a month tier that you can basically, it's all the bandwidth that you'll need to operate it. There are two things I want to show you. Sorry, I'm like looking up this stuff in the background as you're talking. Just for the audience that's like listening and not watching, I'm showing a graph that's N8N JSON and the search volume for it over the last couple of months. So basically went parabolic December 2024. This is crazy. So it's super early. So I'm just thinking for you, CJ, if you can come in and be like, yeah, like we'll
Make a
basically
SaaS.
make these files exactly, right? Immediately my mind went there. The other thing, I went to Perplexity and I was just like, write an N8N JSON file that automatically creates tweets based off viral tweets. And what it
Exactly.
did is it created a JSON file that calls the right nodes. And also, basically we'll search for the viral tweets and then we'll write tweets based on that. You can go and modify this, etc. So anyway, just
Wow.
wanted two things to pass on to the audience, so just so they can see what is capable at this point.
It's crazy.
Man, okay. So there's so much here. Again, I'm like not sleeping, just thinking about all this and like trying to automate all of these things. Can you talk to me about like just the adoption of this and like the best way to kind of get into this ecosystem? I think for a lot of people, it's like they don't know where to start. And you've laid out some great suggestions already. Like, hey, start with a no-code tool like Make. Use something that's like writing out like a detailed PRD. But I'm just curious if there's like, what should I be asking you about, in relationship to this whole world that I'm not asking you or I haven't asked you already.
Okay, perfect. I think so. I ran some cohorts with different people that actually wanted to build some sort of digital product, and I got some insights. So there are two main roadblocks that majority of the people have. One is, what should I build? And second one is post building stage, which is how to sell this thing, right? Let's just solve both of those. I don't know if you have checked that out, but if you can go onto Vercel Domains, and that's, I think, is the best best tool to analyze the domain availability. So you go onto Vercel Domains, you write any keyword. For example, let's just build a tool directory for lawyers. So we just write lawyers, and we just analyze what are the available domains that are out there: lawyers.tools, community, stuff like that, right? And then from there, you have one idea, like, okay, this domain is good. Then you go into Google Trends, and then you find out just like what you did, if it has the search volume there. And then if you are a bit more technical, you can go into Google AdWords and you can see like, okay, how much CPC and stuff like that. And then you come back to ChatGPT and you say, okay, so I am looking at this one domain. What can I build with this thing? And then ChatGPT can give you 10 ideas. Okay, you can build a tool directory, you can make a community, you can make a SaaS, and then you can hone in into one thing, and then you just go into a rabbit hole. So ChatGPT, you get that idea, refine it, what are the core features and stuff like that, put it into tool like CodeGuide, or even not, if you want to use it for free, you can just go into Grok and just create a PRD. Then from there you can get into any coding tool and just get that thing built. Once that thing is built, now you are going into the vibe marketing space to actually sell it. You can list this thing on all the tool directories that are available for free. Then you can write posts. You do some screen recorded demos. You post it on YouTube. I know that you are a really good advocate of that. Long form content always converts a lot more than that. You can also post that same content on Twitter. That actually gets you really good reach. So distribution is not as difficult as we think. It's just like when we say marketing, our mind just doesn't create any picture in our head. But when we just gamify it, like, okay, what is marketing in a nutshell? This is just content, narratives, storylines. Okay, what kind of content? Threads, long form posts, shorts and stuff. And now you can start to create picture around your product. So for creating narratives, AI is there. For idea refinement, AI is there. Brainstorming, AI is there. Development, AI is there. Everything is just there. It's just us that are not actually sitting on this laptop and just, locking ourselves in and building something with it.
100% agree. I think it's funny. I have this mantra that I always just tell myself is like, build things people want to buy and then sell them to it, sell it to them. Because it's so often I see this, I've made this mistake in the past as well, especially when I started out early, where it's like, this is you're wishing they would want to buy this thing, right? You're trying to change a habit or an outcome rather than like, responding to the market. And the analogy or, the real world example I always use to try to describe this is like, hey, any given city, there's 100 plus window washing companies, and they all make money.
Yes,
And
exactly.
like for some reason, we don't think about software in the same way. Where
Yeah.
it's like, why aren't we? Again, I think it's different for each of the scales that you're at, right? If you're building a venture backed company, it's a totally different conversation. I say that though, but it's like, yeah, you can still make $100 million a year window
Exactly.
washing company that's multi-city, et cetera. So I
Yeah.
don't know if this is true or like what my real beliefs are. But with that said, though, I think for a lot of engineers, what I see happen, they're like the mistake they end up making is they get caught in this trap where they're like build something that people don't want to buy, and then they're like, oh, marketing isn't working. And in reality, it's just actually people don't want to buy that thing. You can do
Exactly.
marketing. And marketing becomes easy when people want to buy that thing, right? Like I can't sell anything that people don't want to buy. There's 0% chance. But if they do want to buy it, the farther you get on that spectrum, the more likely it is for
100%.
it to be way easier to sell that thing. So anyway, I think what you said again is incredibly valuable for people that are trying to identify like what should I be building, and then how
Let
do
me
I
add one more point to it. I
please.
think that you actually broke a myth there. And that's actually true for software space. People do say like, okay, that thing already exists. That's the exact thing that you should need to build, because you don't need to validate that idea. You don't need to educate the market. You don't need to do anything different. Everything is just there. Build a better version of it. And even you can find like, okay, what are the things that people are not liking about that product? You just make a better version of it, sell it for one-time software, sell it for a lesser fee, make a UI better, make it a lot less frictionless. There's a lot that you can do, right? So that's the exact strategy that I use. And second one is never build a futuristic thing or ahead of time thing, because most of your time will go into just educating the audience, like, okay, this is what I built, this is for this solve that problem, and they won't be able to connect like, okay, I don't think so, I am having that pain right now, maybe in the future. So just build the things that is just in front of you, and always go data back, right? Always build with brain now. No emotion, no heart, nothing like that. If the data says like, okay, there is a demand, let's build it. If not, script that, move to the next one.
Man, I love it. It's such again, it's one of these times where it's like so energizing because there's just so much that you can do.
Yeah.
I'm curious, you see a lot of companies come through your guys' ecosystem. Is there any ideas that have like you've seen people do or just you've stumbled upon from a business idea perspective that you think somebody should go build? And then how do they use code? How do they use CodeGuide to go build that initial product? Anything that's come across your desk that's interesting?
Yeah, I think you are the main guy, because I watch your and Greg's podcast all the time, those startup ideas. But let me just spin some that I just see right now. So Google just released this image API, the Ghibli one that everybody just Ghiblified themselves. Now it has the API, and I think you spin up some weird stuff on X, and I did the same thing, which is for different use cases. But you can literally take any ad copy, you just paste it in there. You literally share, okay, this is my product, make a literally the same product, but for me, and then there you go. So you can do the same thing with ad libraries. So Facebook has that. You just go out there, find out like what are the winning ads, what is the copy, how do they look, and then ask ChatGPT to first analyze that. Use the O3 model that actually analyze in pixel by pixel resolution, and then from there you take that information, attach that image, and then ask it to create the same sort of ad for your product, and then you just double down on that. I think anybody can create a SaaS around that, and that will solve a lot of the problems around A/B testing for ads. So that's one thing that I have seen. Second is CRO, which I think you are the best one. So you can literally go onto any landing page. That can take the whole screenshot of it, and it can break into chunks like hero section, this and that. That goes into the SaaS application that can analyze, nav bar, hero section, pricing section, and then it can give you a roasting report, roast my landing page, stuff
Totally.
like that. And then it, give you like, you are 4 out of 10. Here are the recommendations that I present to you. And you just go out there, and that's like $25. a CRO will literally charge you like $750 to $1,000 to even more than that. But these are like a lot of the use cases that B2B industry has. And you already know that the real money is in B2B. B2C is a lot dynamic. You need to do a lot more to get very, very less pennies. But with B2B, if you hone in on one vertical, you find like different pain points, build different SaaS products, just do one thing, one product, one solution, and there you go. So these are like most of the use cases I think that people are not building or will be building right now will be with image API. I think if somebody can literally go and use that for B2B industry, there are like tons of different products that you can build.
Yeah, I think that leave the listener on like with a thing to think about after this whole conversation is just like focusing on that single outcome. Like, what is that massive pain point that you're trying to solve, and then like how do I get AI to solve that problem with like writing code, from a PRD standpoint to actually building the product, and then how do I communicate that pain point, with my marketing? I think that's honestly ties together everything that we've been talking about over the last 45 minutes. So
yeah.
Man, this is amazing. I have so many. Again, I'm gonna go walk the dog over the next like 30 minutes and just process everything we talked about. I have so many ideas. But CJ, thank you again for coming on. Where can people find you if you want to they want to reach out or get or your product?
I have my X account. I'll link it to this video or share it with you.
Plus, we'll include it in the description. So
for sure. And the product that I'm trying to build right now is CodeGuide.dev. Right now, this is just V1 of it, which is like creating documentation. But the next step is we're building this mentor, like coding guide or coding mentor, where you can just literally screen share, and then it can guide you on step by step, like debugging, attaching any documents, like what can be the next step, how to build the front end, back end, and stuff like that. So we are 95% there, just testing it out, and then we will launch that. So that is CodeGuide.dev. If anybody wants to use that, just and if you are from Cody's audience, just ping me. I'll arrange some discounts too.
Amazing, man. We'll include that in the details of the show. And thank you again for coming on, man. We'll have you back in like 6 months and just tell us about the state of, vibe coding and everything that's going on here. I know it's moving super fast. So thanks again.
100%. No worries. It was amazing, touching base with you, and a lot of ideas that are now in my head that I need to write journal on. But always good to meet you, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks again.